In a cozy little house nestled at the edge of a grand forest, lived the Thompson family. There was Dad, who loved telling stories by the fireplace. Mom, an incredible cook known for her delicious hot cocoa. And their two kids, Lily and Max. Every winter, the family shared special traditions that made this season magical. But what they looked forward to most was an unexpected visitor, Bigfoot. The Thompsons had always felt that something mysterious dwelled in the woods surrounding their home. The towering trees seemed to whisper secrets as they swayed in the wind, and on cold nights, strange sounds echoed through the air. At first, these noises frightened Lily and Max. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. The first time they heard a rustling outside their window, followed by a soft growl. They jumped under their blankets, holding onto each other tightly. However, as winter approached each year, Dad would recount tales of Bigfoot, the legendary creature said to have shaggy fur and mighty feet. These stories sparked excitement in the children's hearts. They imagined what it would be like to run into Bigfoot. Curiosity danced in their minds while images of a gentle giant played out. Soon enough, what was once fear transformed into wonder. Each December, as snowflakes began to blanket their yard, they would eagerly anticipate when Bigfoot would come to visit. Every winter night turned into a special occasion as the family followed their traditions. They would start by decorating their home with twinkling lights that shone like stars against the white snow outside. Next came baking cookies. Lots of them. Mom loved making sugar cookies shaped like snowflakes and gingerbread men. Lily and Max carefully decorated each one with colorful icing and sprinkles. On the night of Bigfoot's expected arrival, the family would gather around the fireplace after dinner. With mugs of steaming hot cocoa in hand, they'd share stories about their previous encounters with Bigfoot from past winters. They'd giggle about how nervous Max had been when he first spotted him peeking from behind a tree, or how Lily had left out her favorite teddy bear that one year, only to find it returned with muddy paw prints on its foot. "Maybe this year he'll bring someone," Max exclaimed excitedly one evening as they sat together by the warmth of the fire. Lily nodded vigorously. "I hope so. What if Bigfoot has friends?" Whenever winter rolled around, messages were sent throughout town about Bigfoot's coming visit. The townspeople would nod knowingly at each other as they passed in shops or at school, sharing secret glances full of excitement and understanding. The belief in Bigfoot connected everyone, like an invisible thread woven through whispers and laughter. But despite all this excitement from the community, it was truly unique for just the Thompson family. They felt a special bond had formed between them and this mysterious creature, who visited only when winter cloaked everything in white silence. As Christmas approached each year, Dad began a new tradition, taking Lily and Max on hiking trips deeper into the woods where few dared to wander during colder months. He taught them about animal tracks and identifying different trees while keeping an eye out for any signs of Bigfoot. A broken branch here or unusual footprints there kept them alert with anticipation. The chill in the air invigorated them as they trekked through nature's wonders. Frosty branches sparkled like diamonds against blue skies. Woodland animals scampered away at their presence. Even birds chirped cheerfully, as if celebrating another season together. With every passing winter evening leading up to that fateful night when Bigfoot usually arrived for his silent visitations seemed to stretch forever. But finally comes that most magical moment, when darkness blanketed everything outside except for sparkling stars above illuminating all around them. From deep within those vast trees, somewhere beyond view, came soft echoes unlike anything normal animals made. A combination of heavy thuds reverberating through stillness, accompanied by cracking branches amidst freshly fallen snowflakes, whispering promises of adventure ahead. "Do you think it'll happen again this year?" little Max asked in his excitement, barely able to keep still on his chair beside his sister, staring wide-eyed toward drawn curtains, waiting eagerly, hoping for something amazing beyond sight. "Oh, I just know it will," replied Lily confidently, daydreaming, already imagining all sorts of joyful possibilities swirling within her mind, filled with wonderment, awaiting whatever surprise lurked just beyond their doorsteps. That night held many things. Dreams filled with snowy landscapes, enchanted by friendships forged across worlds unseen, where fantasy mingled freely among reality, creating memories cherished long after every sparkle melted away come springtime. Thus began another chapter in which not only did curiosity thrive inside hearts, but an enduring connection grew deeper between family bonds, strengthened through joyous celebrations, wrapped up snugly within tales shared during bubbling fireside chats, pretending magic might indeed fill our world if we chose to believe hard enough. As the days grew shorter and colder, the Thompson family often found themselves huddled together in their warm living room, filled with excitement for their beloved winter traditions. Among these cherished moments was the telling of stories that surrounded Bigfoot, the mysterious creature who had captured their imaginations. The legend of Bigfoot, known to many as Sasquatch, was not just a tale. It was woven into the very fabric of their community. The Thompson kids learned about Bigfoot from their parents and neighbors. "You know," Dad began one night with a twinkle in his eye, "it's said that Bigfoot has been roaming these woods for hundreds of years." He would lean closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a deep secret. "People have spotted him on snowy nights, tall and covered in shaggy hair, moving silently between the trees. Some claim he even leaves giant footprints behind." Lily and Max listened intently, wide-eyed and hanging on every word. Their imaginations soared with images of this gentle giant wandering through the forest under the moonlight. The stories were filled with wonder, tales of encounters where people would share frosty hot cocoa with him, or catch fleeting glimpses of his enormous shadow slipping away into the trees. One unforgettable story came from Old Man Jenkins, a local legend himself. He'd been living at the edge of town for over 70 years and had seen his fair share of strange happenings. "Back when I was a boy," he recounted during one chilly evening gathering at the community center, "I was camping in those very woods with my friends when we heard something heavy moving through the brush." He paused for effect while everyone leaned in closer. "We saw him, a massive figure. We were too scared to move until dawn broke. And when we looked around, there were huge footprints all around our campfire." These stories stirred up feelings of curiosity and excitement within Lily and Max each time they heard them. To them, Bigfoot wasn't just a mythical creature. He felt real, like a friend they hadn't yet met but hoped to see one day. They imagined what it would be like to run into him. What would they say? Would he smile? Would he enjoy cookies as much as they did? As winter approached each year, anticipation built throughout the town. The legend drew people together. Children exchanged whispers about Bigfoot during recess, while adults nodded knowingly at one another in shops or cafes. It created a sense of camaraderie among them. Everyone shared this special bond forged by belief in something greater than themselves. However, it wasn't just tales from neighbors that fueled the children's excitement. There were also newspaper clippings displayed at the local library recounting sightings from decades past. The articles included blurry photographs showing large shadows lurking in forests or strange footprints discovered near nearby streams. The evidence seemed thin at times, but to Lily and Max, it only added to the mystery. "Mom," Max once asked as they curled up under blankets on a cold winter night, "do you think Bigfoot is lonely? Maybe that's why he comes back here every year?" Mom smiled softly at her son's innocent question. "Maybe he is," she replied thoughtfully. "Or perhaps he loves watching over us during winter when things are quiet." Her words filled both kids' hearts with warmth as they tucked deeper into their blankets. Bigfoot became more than just a legend. It ignited feelings of wonder that expanded far beyond their home life. While decorating their house or baking cookies each December, thoughts drifted toward what magic lay out there, waiting for them beneath snow-covered branches. That magic became tangible when Dad decided to take them hiking deeper into those woods where stories originated. The place where whispers floated through trees like soft music inviting adventure. With each step further away from home brought tingling excitement combined with slight nervousness. The unknown awaited beyond every bend. "Look!" Lily shouted gleefully one afternoon as she spotted unusual tracks leading off the path they walked. A chance to trace hints left behind by perhaps someone whose existence had yet remained unproven. Max could barely contain his enthusiasm either. Do you think these could belong to Bigfoot?" Lily nodded vigorously like an enthusiastic puppy eager for playtime. They followed those tracks together until twilight painted everything around them soft shades of purple. A reminder that sometimes reality blurs beautifully into imagination. With stories thumping in their hearts and questions filling their minds about what lay ahead, every winter season brought new tales woven seamlessly together. They cherished not only traditions, but also dreams enriched by legends flowing through time, forever connecting lives across generations within those cozy walls lined warmly with love. It was a snowy winter night when the Thompson family's lives changed forever. The air was crisp, and thick flakes of snow fell gently from the sky, creating a soft blanket over the world outside. Inside their cozy home, the warmth of the fireplace crackled cheerfully as Mom poured steaming mugs of hot cocoa for everyone. Lily and Max could barely contain their excitement. Tonight might be the night they finally met Bigfoot. As they settled onto the couch with their mugs, Dad began to tell them all about the signs to look for when Bigfoot was nearby. "Listen closely," he said playfully. "You might hear the deep thuds of his footsteps or see shadows moving between the trees." The children's eyes widened in anticipation as they imagined what it would be like to see such a creature. After finishing their cocoa, Dad suggested they step outside for a little while. "Let's see if we can catch a glimpse of him," he said with a wink. With scarves wrapped tightly around their necks and mittens pulled on, they slipped out into the winter wonderland. The moonlight illuminated the white landscape, casting a magical glow on everything around them. As they walked through the crunchy snow, their hearts raced with excitement and a hint of nervousness. The forest loomed nearby, its tall trees standing like silent guardians. The sound of twigs snapping underfoot and the gentle whisper of the wind added to the enchantment of the night. Lily and Max listened carefully, straining to hear any unusual noises that might indicate Bigfoot's presence. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from deep within the woods, causing them to freeze in place. "Did you hear that?" Max whispered, his voice trembling slightly. Lily nodded, her eyes wide with wonder and fear combined. They exchanged glances with their parents, who smiled reassuringly but shared in the thrill of uncertainty. With cautious steps, they moved closer to where the sound had come from. As they reached the edge of the forest, something enormous shifted between the trees. The family held their breath as a massive figure emerged from the shadows. A creature covered in shaggy fur that looked like it had just stepped out of one of their favorite bedtime stories. It was Bigfoot. The sight was breathtaking. Standing at least 8 feet tall, Bigfoot had long limbs and an impressive frame that towered over the snow-covered ground. His fur was thick and dark, blending perfectly with the night. Bigfoot's face held an expression of curiosity rather than aggression. His large eyes sparkled with intelligence as they locked onto Lily and Max. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as both children gazed in awe. They had pictured Bigfoot in their minds countless times before, but seeing him in person took their breath away. He had an almost gentle demeanor as he observed them from a distance, leaning slightly toward them as if trying to understand who these tiny humans were. Max whispered again, "He looks friendly." He couldn't believe his eyes. This wasn't just a creature from stories anymore. It felt real, alive, and somehow connected to them. Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing with excitement while fear melted away into pure wonder. Slowly, Bigfoot took a step forward into the moonlight, leaving large footprints in the fresh snow. Each step he took made a soft, crunching sound that echoed in the stillness of the night. He seemed curious about what was happening around him, sniffing gently at the air before glancing back at them. In that moment, it felt like an invitation. The family sensed he wasn't there to scare them. Rather, he was intrigued by their presence. Max took a tentative step forward as he called out softly, "Hello." His small voice broke through the magic that enveloped them. Bigfoot paused for a heartbeat before tilting his head curiously at Max's greeting. It was as if he understood. There was no fear in his gentle expression, only curiosity. The family watched as he knelt down slowly to avoid startling them further. Lily couldn't help but giggle nervously. She felt an overwhelming urge to approach him, but stayed grounded where she stood. The magical moment felt fragile, yet thrilling all at once. Their dream had come true. Bigfoot reached out a hand toward them. Large fingers gingerly brushed against a snow-covered branch hanging low near him as if offering something. A connection between worlds unseen until now. Moments passed where silence spoke volumes. A shared understanding filled with magic hung in the air. But suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the forest. The sound came from behind Bigfoot. He turned abruptly toward it and looked back over his shoulder before standing tall once more. It seemed something caught his attention deeper in the woods, perhaps another creature or friend calling from afar. With one last glance at Lily and Max, soft eyes filled with warmth, Bigfoot turned and disappeared gracefully into the darkness beyond, leaving only shadows dancing among trees behind him. As they stood there in awe beneath twinkling stars above blanketed by silence surrounding them once more, hearts racing while cheeks flushed with excitement, the Thompson family knew this encounter would forever hold a special place in their memories. Their first meeting with Bigfoot. As winter blanketed the Thompson family's home in a pristine layer of snow, anticipation filled the air. Each year, as Bigfoot's return approached, the family busied themselves with special traditions that brought them closer, creating a festive atmosphere filled with magic and warmth. The excitement bubbled within Lily and Max, who could hardly contain their eagerness to prepare for their beloved visitor. A week before Bigfoot's expected arrival, preparations began in earnest. Mom would pull out her favorite recipes, dust off the flour canister, and gather ingredients from their well-stocked pantry. This year, she decided they would bake an assortment of cookies, just like they did every winter. The sweet aroma of chocolate chip cookies mixed with peppermint candy canes would fill their home as they worked together in the kitchen. "Can we make some giant cookies?" Max asked one afternoon while measuring out flour under Mom's watchful eye. "Of course. Let's make them extra big this year," replied Mom, smiling at the thought of leaving a special treat for Bigfoot. While mixing the dough, Lily stumbled upon an idea. "What if we shape the cookies like footprints? That way he knows they're for him." Her eyes shone with creativity. The thought of Bigfoot enjoying their treats delighted both siblings as they rolled out the dough and formed large cookie shapes resembling Bigfoot's famous footprints. Once all the cookies were baked and cooled, they dedicated an entire plate to their furry friend. With a flourish, they added a note written in crayon to accompany it. "Dear Bigfoot, we hope you enjoy these cookies. Love, the Thompsons." Dad chuckled at their enthusiasm while adding tiny pine cones and sprigs of evergreen around the plate for decoration, a welcoming gesture to make their guest feel at home. On the night that marked Bigfoot's anticipated visit, excitement reached its peak. After finishing dinner, the family gathered around the fireplace. Wearing cozy pajamas and snuggled under warm blankets, they took turns sharing stories about previous encounters with Bigfoot. Dad recounted tales filled with laughter as he remembered how Max had once accidentally dropped his cookie while trying to wave at him. "Remember when he returned your teddy bear?" Lily chimed in eagerly, her eyes sparkling with wonder. "That was so cool." Max laughed at the memory as he hugged his now muddy teddy bear tighter. "I still think he wanted to play." As laughter filled the room, Mom suggested they also share what they thought Bigfoot might be like this year. "Do you think he'll bring friends?" she asked playfully. "I hope so. Maybe he has a family of his own," Lily responded enthusiastically. The idea of meeting other Bigfoots sent shivers of joy through Max as he imagined more friendly giants joining them. After their storytelling session concluded and bedtime approached, it was time to set up for Bigfoot's arrival. Together, they tiptoed outside into the crisp night air to place the plate of cookies on the porch where Bigfoot always appeared. The moon shone brightly overhead as they set up not only the treats, but also a steaming bowl of water nearby. After all, even legendary creatures might need a drink. Once everything was in place, Lily and Max scampered back inside to get cozy by the fireplace again. They switched off most lights, except for a few twinkling strings that adorned their living room, creating a magical ambiance perfect for waiting for their extraordinary visitor. "Do you think he can smell the cookies from far away?" Max wondered aloud, his mind racing with possibilities. Lily nodded eagerly. "He has a super sniffer, just like a big dog." As they settled down by the fire, anticipation wrapped around them like a warm blanket. The gentle crackling sound of burning wood created a soothing backdrop as both children leaned against their parents, feeling safe and excited for what was to come. With wide eyes fixed on the darkened woods outside their window, time seemed to stretch on forever until suddenly, a soft rustle broke through the silence. The forest came alive with mysterious sounds as snow crunched beneath heavy footsteps. The family exchanged glances filled with pure thrill. It was happening. Would this be another unforgettable meeting? Would Bigfoot enjoy their treats? They held each other tightly as their hearts raced in unison, while listening carefully to every sound that echoed from beyond. In those precious moments leading up to Bigfoot's arrival, a sense of togetherness enveloped them. A reminder that these traditions bonded them not only as a family, but also to something magical that existed beyond imagination. Their shared hopes floated through the air like snowflakes dancing against bright stars above, uniting them all under one night sky filled with dreams waiting to unfold. The night that Bigfoot was supposed to return, the Thompson family felt an air of electric anticipation. They had followed their beloved traditions, baking cookies, telling stories, and preparing a cozy home for their special visitor. But this year, something felt different. As they awoke to the soft light of dawn filtering through their windows, Lily and Max rushed to the front door, eager to see if Bigfoot had stopped by during the night. As they stepped outside into the sparkling white snow, their eyes widened in shock and excitement. There, right in front of their porch, were several gigantic footprints leading away from the trees and toward their home. The tracks were large and wide, each one imprinted deeply in the soft snow, a clear sign that someone or something had been there. "Look at those," Max exclaimed, pointing wildly at the impressive prints. Do you think it could be Bigfoot's friends?" Lily knelt down to examine one of the footprints closely. "They're huge. These look even bigger than last year's," she said with gleeful disbelief. The excitement coursed through them like a warm current as they eagerly followed the trail leading into their yard. The footprints meandered across the snowy ground, weaving around bushes and tree trunks before disappearing deeper into the forest. Lily's heart raced with curiosity and wonder. But why are there so many? Do you think he brought family? Max's imagination soared at the thought. Maybe he has little Bigfoots, or a whole group of friends who came to visit him. He jumped up excitedly, practically bouncing on his feet. The idea filled both siblings with a sense of adventure as they envisioned not just one, but possibly several friendly giants wandering about in their backyard. They hurried back inside to fetch their parents, bursting through the door like two bouncing balls of energy. "Mom, Dad, you have to see this," they called out in unison. Mom and Dad followed them outside with intrigued expressions. Upon seeing the massive footprints leading away from their porch, Dad knelt down for a closer look. "Well, now, this is interesting," he mused thoughtfully. "I've never seen anything quite like it." "Do you think he really brought others?" Mom asked, glancing between her children's eager faces filled with hope and excitement. "I think so," Max replied fervently. "There are too many tracks for just him." As they surveyed the tracks together as a family, their minds began to spin with possibilities about what could have happened during the night. Was Bigfoot spending time with his friends? Were these his family members? The questions hung in the frosty air, while shivers of thrill coursed through them all. Lily pointed off toward where two of the footprints seemed to veer off toward a nearby tree line. A group of smaller prints appeared beside them. "Look, those must be little ones," she gasped in awe. Mom smiled widely as she observed her children's excitement unfold before her eyes, their imaginations running wild as they saw signs of life beyond just themselves in this beautiful winter wilderness. "Let's follow them," Max suggested eagerly as he clutched Lily's hand tightly. Both kids took off running toward where the prints led into deeper woods, while Mom and Dad exchanged amused glances before hurrying after them. With each crunching step through fresh snowflakes beneath their feet, Lily and Max felt a thrilling sense of adventure. This wasn't just another winter day. It was a treasure hunt filled with wonderment waiting around every corner, as they ventured deeper into familiar territories now transformed by fresh snowfall, old paths becoming new again. Every rustle in nearby bushes caused them to pause briefly with breathless anticipation when suddenly, overhead echoed strange sounds, almost like whispers carried by winter winds, drifting gently across branches, shaking softly overhead. It felt alive around them, filled with mystery, as if nature itself held secrets waiting patiently for revelation. "What do you think we'll find?" whispered Max breathlessly, while peeking behind trees, hoping to catch sight of any movement. His eyes sparkling brightly against frosty air surrounding them, like stars reflected upon cold surfaces shimmering above. "I don't know," replied Lily breathlessly, but confidently. She squeezed Max's hand tighter reassuringly before declaring boldly, "But I believe we'll discover something amazing." With hearts pounding rhythmically along beside newfound footsteps leading further ahead, the thrill embracing both siblings fully wrapped tightly within moments, that transcended mere imagination, transforming ordinary winters into journeys woven together forevermore, through shared hopes swirling among starlit skies below. A testament representing bonds created between families, built not only on dreams, but also adventures awaiting discovery. As the Thompson family followed the curious footprints deeper into the enchanted woods, their hearts raced with excitement and wonder. Each crunch of snow beneath their boots filled them with anticipation. What would they find? The tracks wound through towering trees, their branches heavy with a sparkling layer of frost that glimmered in the winter sun. After a few minutes of following the trail, Lily noticed something unusual ahead. "Max, look!" she exclaimed, pointing excitedly as she spotted not just one, but several larger-than-life figures dotting the horizon. There, among the trees, stood not only Bigfoot, but also what appeared to be two more Bigfoots, one of which was noticeably smaller, as if it were a young one. The sight took their breath away. The larger creatures had thick fur that blended seamlessly with the snowy landscape. Their eyes twinkled with intelligence and warmth. It was clear they weren't frightened of the Thompson family. Instead, they appeared curious and inviting. "Wow," Max whispered, his eyes wide with awe. "There are more of them." With careful steps, Mom and Dad guided Lily and Max closer to where Bigfoot stood alongside its companions. At first, it felt surreal. The children had always imagined this moment in dreams, but never expected it to become a reality. As they approached cautiously, Bigfoot let out a gentle rumble that sounded almost like laughter. The younger Bigfoot playfully bounded around its larger companion, displaying an exuberance that filled the forest air with joy. The sight warmed Lily's heart. It was as if these incredible beings were inviting them into their world. Feeling brave, Max called out softly, "Hello." His voice trembled slightly, but held firm excitement. To their amazement, the young Bigfoot paused mid-leap and turned towards him, tilting its head in curiosity. It took a tentative step forward, its big foot leaving an impression on soft ground, and then sat down on its haunches as if waiting for something magical to happen. "This is amazing," Lily said in hushed tones while her parents exchanged delighted glances. Bigfoot moved gently closer too, allowing its massive form to lower itself so it could be closer to their height. Its eyes sparkled warmly under thick brows, reflecting kindness in every glance shared between them. Slowly reaching out a hand that appeared cautious yet friendly, Bigfoot offered a small gift, a pine cone decorated with bright green moss and tiny red berries nestled within its grasp. Lily gasped excitedly as she accepted the offering while grinning ear to ear. "Thank you," she exclaimed with pure delight. It felt like a treasure from an unseen world, a token connecting them through shared moments filled with understanding despite being so different. Max watched wide-eyed as he carefully reached toward the younger Bigfoot now sitting nearby. "You're really strong," he exclaimed admiringly. The young creature seemed pleased by his compliment and let out an adorable chirp-like sound in response that made everyone chuckle softly. Mom knelt beside her children and smiled at all three Bigfoots gathered patiently before them. Their presence radiated warmth, even amidst chilly air surrounding everyone, like a cozy cocoon stretching endlessly across vast forests nearby. In exchange for their gifts, the cookies they'd left outside earlier, they shared stories about each other's lives. The children recounted tales filled with laughter while learning about how these extraordinary creatures lived amidst nature's wonders, hidden away from human eyes most times. They discovered that these friendly giants loved exploring snowy valleys, just like children do during weekends outside, playing hide-and-seek together. They told tales of playful snowball fights among trees, growing tall over centuries stretching far above. "It sounds like fun." Max laughed while listening intently. His imagination soared higher than ever before. They realized mutual understanding bridged gaps created by mere differences, making friendships flourish regardless. As parting began approaching slowly, after joyful exchanges transformed into cherished memories, crafted everlasting bonds, they waved goodbye, knowing this winter brought more than just familiarity. But new connections forged between beings who may have once seemed worlds apart, now united under starlit skies, embracing possibilities, awaiting discovery beyond reality. Togetherness thrummed through all leaves, fluttering overhead, whispering songs passed down generations, celebrated quietly amongst those living harmoniously, sharing life around sacred spaces forever intertwined. And so began an unforgettable chapter, where magic danced through woods every year, reminding families everywhere that even when legends come alive, they truly bring us closer, celebrating what makes us uniquely beautiful together. As the magical encounter with Bigfoot and its companions unfolded, the Thompson family found themselves immersed in profound lessons about friendship, acceptance, and the beauty of nature. The experience was transformative, opening their hearts and minds to new understandings that would stay with them long after the winter season faded into spring. After exchanging gifts and stories with the friendly giants, Lily and Max felt a sense of connection that transcended words. It was as if the very essence of friendship filled the air around them, an unspoken bond that welcomed differences and celebrated togetherness. The children realized that while Bigfoot and his family looked different from them, their hearts beat in harmony with kindness and curiosity. That's what makes friends special. Lily mused aloud as they walked back home, her eyes shining with joy. It doesn't matter how we look or where we come from. What matters is how we treat each other. Max nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, they were so nice. I could tell they wanted to be our friends just like we wanted to be theirs. His excitement bubbled over as he recalled the playful way the younger Bigfoot had responded to him. It reminded him of playing with his friends at school, laughter and joy bridging gaps between them regardless of their differences. As they settled down for the night, the warmth of their family home wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. Mom and Dad shared knowing smiles, recognizing the lessons their children were learning through this extraordinary encounter. Friendship can come in all shapes and sizes, Dad said softly, tucking Lily and Max into their beds. It's important to keep our hearts open to others, even those who may seem different from us. That night, dreams swirled in the children's minds. Visions of snowy adventures spent with Bigfoot and his family, filled with laughter and play. They understood that nature was not just a backdrop for their fun. It was a living part of their experience. The woods were home to many creatures, each with its own story to tell. This realization deepened their appreciation for the environment around them. The next morning, inspired by their encounter, Lily suggested an idea during breakfast. What if we keep visiting the forest? We can learn more about it and all the animals that live there. Max's eyes lit up at her suggestion, and soon they were brainstorming ways to explore nature together as a family. Mom beamed at her children's enthusiasm. That's a wonderful idea. We can plan hikes and nature walks where we can observe wildlife and appreciate the beauty of our surroundings. Dad nodded in agreement, thrilled to see his kids so engaged with nature. Over the following weeks, the family ventured out into the woods more often than ever before. They discovered new trails, admired towering trees, and listened to the cheerful sounds of chirping birds. Each visit deepened their understanding of both the ecosystem around them and their role within it. They collected pine cones and leaves, sketched woodland creatures in notebooks, and even tried to identify animal tracks in the snow. One afternoon, while exploring, they stumbled upon a small clearing where sunlight filtered through branches, creating a dazzling display of light on the forest floor. It felt magical, almost like a secret garden waiting to be discovered. As they sat together in awe of this natural beauty, Max remarked, "It's like Bigfoot showed us this place." Lily agreed enthusiastically, "Yes, and we should share it with our friends too." They decided to invite their classmates for a nature day filled with fun activities, scavenger hunts, wildlife observation, and storytelling under the trees, just like they had shared stories with Bigfoot. When the day finally arrived, their friends marveled at the wonders of nature that Lily and Max had discovered together. The hidden gems waiting among trees became avenues for friendship and exploration. Each child laughed and played freely as they climbed over logs, explored trails, and created memories that would last forever. Through their adventures with Bigfoot and subsequent explorations into the woods, the Thompson family learned invaluable lessons. They discovered that embracing differences fosters understanding and kindness. Friendships are formed not merely through similarities, but also through shared experiences that touch hearts deeply. Nature became a cherished friend itself, reminding them that every creature has its place in this grand tapestry of life. Whether it was a gentle breeze, rustling leaves, or a curious critter peeking out from behind a tree trunk, they found joy in observing life unfolding all around them. As winter turned to spring and flowers began to bloom once more, they carried these lessons in their hearts. A reminder that magic exists not only in legends, but also within themselves as they continue exploring friendship and connection with both nature and each other. And every time they looked toward those enchanted woods, they remembered that genuine bonds can bridge any gap, uniting beings across worlds in beautiful harmony. As winter settled into the Thompson family's cozy home, excitement reached new heights. The time had come for their annual celebration with Bigfoot and his newfound friends. After months of anticipation, Lily and Max could hardly contain their joy. They had planned a special day filled with games, stories, and fun activities in the sparkling snow, eager to share their traditions with their legendary companions. On the morning of the celebration, the sun shimmered brightly in the crisp blue sky, casting a magical glow over the snow-covered landscape. The family bundled up in their warmest clothes, scarves wrapped snugly around their necks and mittens pulled tight. They carried with them a big basket filled with treats, cookies shaped like footprints, hot cocoa in thermoses, and an assortment of shiny ornaments to hang on the branches of a nearby tree. "Do you think they'll love our cookies?" Max asked as they made their way toward the clearing where they had first met Bigfoot and his friends. "They'll love them," Lily replied confidently, "and we can all play games together." Once they arrived at the clearing, the Thompson family set up a cozy little gathering area. They cleared away some of the snow to create a soft space for everyone to sit and enjoy their treats. The children hung colorful ornaments on the branches of nearby trees, hoping to make the area feel festive and welcoming. Mom and Dad prepared cups of steaming hot cocoa, while Lily and Max placed the cookies on a large plate in the center of their gathering spot. The sweet scent of chocolate filled the air and wafted through the trees, as if calling out to their friends. Suddenly, from behind a cluster of snow-covered bushes, they heard a low rumble, a sound that sent shivers of excitement through everyone. Moments later, Bigfoot stepped into view, followed closely by the two younger Bigfoots. The sight brought smiles to all their faces. It felt like a reunion filled with warmth and joy. "Hello, we're so glad you could come," Lily shouted cheerfully as she waved her arms. Bigfoot responded with a hearty rumble that sounded almost like laughter. The younger Bigfoot bounced on its feet, clearly excited to join in the fun. The celebration kicked off with laughter, as Max suggested they start with a game of snowball toss. Each family member took turns tossing snowballs into an empty basket placed several feet away. A challenge that proved more difficult than expected, but full of giggles as everyone cheered each other on. Bigfoot watched curiously at first, but then joined in on the fun. With careful precision, he scooped up large handfuls of snow and tossed them effortlessly toward the basket, much to everyone's amazement. The younger Bigfoot cheered loudly every time its larger companion landed a shot inside the basket, creating an uproar of laughter. After several rounds of snowball tosses, it was time for another game. Snow sculptures. The family divided into teams. Lily and Max teamed up with one young Bigfoot, while Mom and Dad teamed up with Bigfoot. Each group raced to create magnificent sculptures out of snow, using only their hands and creativity. Lily decided they should build a giant snowman that looked like Bigfoot himself. They packed down piles of snow into large balls, stacking them carefully while adding sticks for arms and twigs for eyes. The younger Bigfoot watched closely, its eyes wide with delight as it mimicked their movements and helped shape the snow into funny little figures. Meanwhile, Dad used his creativity to form a snowy representation of a tall tree, a tribute to where they had all met. Mom added delicate details with icicles that glimmered like jewels against the sunlight. Afterward, everyone gathered around their creations, admiring each other's work with smiles all around. "These are incredible," Max exclaimed while giving high fives to both Bigfoots. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the snowy ground, it was time for stories. Everyone settled into a circle around a small fire that Dad had built using dry branches found nearby. The flickering flames warmed them against the chilly air while they sipped hot cocoa from colorful cups. Mom started recounting tales about Christmas traditions and winter folklore from her childhood. Her voice was filled with warmth that drew everyone closer together. As she finished her story, Max excitedly shared his own imaginative tale about adventures in the forest, featuring brave animals who outsmarted hunters, his vivid storytelling capturing everyone's attention. When it was Bigfoot's turn to share, he let out a series of gentle sounds that seemed like deep rumbles and playful chirps. Though no one understood his words exactly, it didn't matter. They could feel his excitement and joy as he communicated his stories through gestures, showing them how he played among trees or danced through falling snowflakes during winter nights. Everyone erupted in laughter when Lily attempted to replicate some of Bigfoot's playful moves, her silly antics bringing joy to both her family and their giant friends. As twilight settled around them like a soft blanket, they wrapped up their celebration with heartfelt thank yous for each other's company, sharing hugs that bridged gaps between worlds once thought apart. With new memories created under starry skies, illuminating darkened woods nearby, the Thompson family knew this winter celebration would be forever cherished. a beautiful reminder that friendship fosters deeper connections regardless of differences, while celebrating life together amidst nature's wonders. As the days grew longer and warmer, the Thompson family felt a bittersweet sense of change in the air. Winter was coming to an end, and with it, their cherished time with Bigfoot and his friendly companions. The melting snow revealed patches of soft earth and budding flowers beneath, reminding everyone that spring was just around the corner. On their final day together, the family decided to host one last special gathering in the clearing where so many wonderful memories had been created. They prepared a feast of delicious foods. Leftover cookies shaped like footprints, fresh fruits, and even some sandwiches for their beloved Bigfoot friends to enjoy. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and reminiscence as everyone gathered one last time. Do you remember the snow sculpture contest? Max laughed as he recounted the playful rivalry between himself and Lily to create the best representation of Bigfoot. I still think ours came out better. Lily grinned back at him. Well, they seem to like yours a little too much, she replied with a teasing wink. Their laughter rang through the trees, echoing joyfully, reflecting the great times they had shared. As they set up their makeshift picnic under the dappled sunlight filtering through branches overhead, Bigfoot and his companions arrived, curious about what was happening in their favorite gathering spot. The gentle giants stepped into view, their large eyes warm and inviting, understanding instinctively that this gathering carried a bittersweet tone. "Hello," chimed Lily and Max in unison, as they waved enthusiastically from their blanket spread across the softening ground. With a delighted rumble, Bigfoot approached cautiously, his massive frame moving gracefully across the uneven terrain. The younger Bigfoot bounced over beside its larger companion, eagerly eyeing the spread of food set out before them. "Look, we brought extra goodies for you," Mom exclaimed as she picked up a plate of cookies decorated just for them. She held it out with a smile, her heart swelling with gratitude along with bitter sweetness at having to say goodbye. The young Bigfoot's eyes lit up at the sight of treats. It gleefully took a giant cookie in its hands, making everyone laugh at how tiny it looked against such a massive treat. Bigfoot shared a knowing glance with its friend, nodding approvingly as if expressing thanks for this delightful feast. After everyone settled down on soft patches of grass surrounding delicious snacks laid out beforehand, time began to stretch like warm sunlight through leafy branches above. It felt peaceful despite this being their farewell gathering. Mom cleared her throat gently before speaking up, her voice filled with emotion. Today isn't just about saying goodbye to winter. It's also about celebrating all that we've shared together. The games, stories, and most importantly, the friendships we've formed. Max nodded solemnly while looking up at Bigfoot, who gazed thoughtfully back. A connection forged between them stronger than words could express. "Before we say goodbye," Lily said excitedly, grabbing everyone's attention again, "let's share our favorite moments from this winter." The sharing began. Each story flowed freely from heart to heart. Max spoke animatedly about how much fun it was playing snowball tosses while imitating Bigfoot's hilarious attempts at aiming accurately. Meanwhile, Lily recalled how glorious it felt, building that gigantic snowman. Bigfoot listened intently. Through rumbles that sounded almost like laughter, a sweet acknowledgement traveling through everyone present, filling them with warmth inside. The younger Bigfoot acted out its own delightful moments by mimicking exaggerated dance moves learned during storytelling sessions, creating bursts of joyous laughter all around them once more. As stories faded into soft, reminiscing voices filled with gratitude, tears brimmed on edges, but smiles remained, brightened, naturally illuminated beneath frosty skies. beginning to reveal hints of spring blossoming forth. When it came time for goodbyes, everyone stood in a circle embracing one another tightly while exchanging heartfelt words, expressing hope for next winter's reunion ahead. Knowing this bond would endure beyond seasons, changing through time itself. "We can't wait to see you next year," Lily squealed joyfully while reaching up high, giving each smiling creature hugs wrapped warmly around all creatures present, nestled within nature's embrace. Nurturing friendships formed underneath starlit skies continued shining brightly across horizons, waiting patiently until next visit between worlds, converging once more. With promises made amongst cherished companions, leaving behind paw prints forever marking lives woven together. They ventured back towards familiar paths leading home, knowing everything, experienced, carved memories, held dear, wrapped snugly within hearts, glowing warmly forevermore. As the seasons shifted and the last remnants of winter melted away, the Thompson family found themselves reflecting deeply on their extraordinary experiences with Bigfoot and its companions. Sitting around their cozy living room, the warmth from the fire radiated as they reminisced about all the magical moments they had shared over the past months. It was a time filled with laughter, friendship, and discoveries that expanded their hearts and minds. "I can't believe everything we experienced," Lily said, snuggling into her favorite blanket. "Meeting Bigfoot and those other creatures really showed me that magic exists all around us." Max nodded in agreement. "Yeah. I never thought I would actually see them. I always thought stories were just for fun," he added. "But now I know there are mysteries right here in our own backyard." Their parents exchanged knowing smiles, happy to see their children so engaged in these thoughts. Mom leaned back, taking a moment to reflect. "You know, magic doesn't always look like what we expect. Sometimes it's found in the friendships we form and the beauty of nature all around us." Dad picked up on this theme, adding, "Imagine how many wonders are out there waiting to be discovered. When we keep an open mind and believe in the possibilities, we allow ourselves to experience life fully." Lily considered her father's words. She could recall every detail of that snowy night when they first encountered Bigfoot. How gentle he seemed, and how important it felt to connect with him despite their differences. "I think it's super important not to judge others based on how they look or where they come from," she declared earnestly. "We learned that from Bigfoot." "Yes, and we never would have made those friendships if we hadn't taken the chance to step outside and explore." Max chimed in, feeling a spark of enthusiasm as he remembered the playful moments they shared during snowball fights and storytelling sessions. Their reflections brought about a sense of awe and gratitude for the world around them. Outside their window, the trees were beginning to bud with fresh leaves, a vibrant reminder that every season brought new life and new opportunities to witness magic unfold in nature. "That's what makes spending time in the forest so special," exclaimed Lily. The beauty of it reminded her of all the things they had discovered. The unique tracks left by woodland animals, the delicate patterns of frost on leaves, and even the joy of spotting various birds flitting through branches. Mom smiled warmly at her children. "And now that you've experienced this, you can share that wonder with your friends, encouraging them to look for magic too." Her heart swelled with pride, knowing that Lily and Max had embraced these lessons wholeheartedly. "Yes, we can take them on hikes or have nature days like we did," Max said excitedly. "We can tell them about our stories with Bigfoot and show them all the cool things." As these thoughts swirled among them, like a gentle breeze rustling the leaves outside, Lily took a deep breath and voiced what was on her mind. "Next winter, I hope we not only see Bigfoot again, but maybe also some new friends, she said dreamily. It would be amazing to discover more magical creatures. With smiles stretching across their faces, the family collectively envisioned future adventures where they would encounter even more surprises within the different seasons. A world filled with unknown treasures that awaited exploration. In unison, they shared their hopes for next winter's reunion with Bigfoot. "We can't wait," they echoed, which blended beautifully with their laughter that floated through the air like sweet chimes signaling joyous possibilities. As bedtime approached, Lily and Max drifted off to sleep, filled with dreams about their furry friends. The sights of towering trees and shimmering snowflakes dancing vividly in their minds. They realized that every adventure mattered, and cherishing each moment made life richer. Deep down, they understood that true magic comes from believing in the wonders around them. The gentle whispers of nature reminding them daily that stories matter just as much as real-life experiences. Encouraged by all they had learned together, they carried these lessons into every new day ahead. So as spring transformed into summer and blossoms painted landscapes with vivid colors, the Thompson family treasurously held onto memories while keeping their hearts open, forever inspired by their adventures alongside enchanting creatures like Bigfoot, reminding each other to embrace life's mysteries and all its magical wonders waiting just beyond sight, ready to unfold.